In Lockdown Protocol, your job as an employee is to complete tasks, and if they aren't finished in time, you lose the game. There are some in-game tutorials, you won't need those, because this is the ultimate beginner's guide to Lockdown Protocol. I've got timestamps below if you're stuck on something, but you'll miss out on all the pro tips for each task. And there are 8 to get through, so let's kick it off with Alimentations is a fairly straightforward puzzle minigame, unless you're colourblind. You'll need batteries and space blocks. So first place you should go is the machine room. This cupboard at the back has everything we need, so take a look around and keep it in mind for later. Around the corner here you'll see several charging stations, 1 supercharger and 2 regular ones. Let's go find a broken machine so we know what we need. Pro tip: put some batteries on to charge before you go, then when you come back they'll be ready. To find a broken one you'll need to use the map and search each area, and when you find one with a red light you'll know you're in the right place. You can see it has 3 slots. The first slot is the battery slot. It tells you how much power the battery has and how much power the machine needs. If there's no battery, obviously this bit will be empty. The second and third will be between 2 colours, and that is the puzzle. You'll need 2 space blocks. The left side of the first space block needs to match the left colour here. The right side of the second space block needs to match the right colour here. Can you guess what the inner colours need to do? That's right. So take note of what blocks you need and head back to the machine room. You remember that cupboard we spoke about at the back? Go inside and grab the right blocks. And don't forget about those batteries we charged earlier. If there's anything you're missing or you need a couple of extras, you can always check storage. Run back to the broken machine and put the missing blocks in the right place. And now, all we have to do is wait. Pro tip: once completed, Alimentations stays in this state. That means you can remove and reuse the battery and any space blocks, just in case you need them for another section. Congratulations! You now have a Master's in Space Dissectology, and you get 10 points. And if you like colours, then you'll love Analysis is all about plants. Check the map here and head in that direction. If you're in Spawn, it's this way. Look at the computer here and see what plants you need. Let's do RU2. Match that picture to what we have on the wall. So we're looking for a plant like this. If you don't already have a container, they usually spawn in this room. A couple of other places they could be. The pantry opposite Pizzushi here. The cupboard room on the way to the plant room, or inside the plant room itself. Make sure you check all the nooks and crannies. In a pinch, you can check storage, or you can steal one from Pizzushi. We're more important anyway. Now that we have our containers, I hope you still remember what that plant looked like. Good. Head to the plant room if you're not there already and look for the plant that matches this shape. We wanted RU2, so it's not you. Nope. No, not that one either. There we go. With the container in your hand, click on the plant when it's highlighted and you'll take a sample. Have a look at that. Pro tip: the first letter of the plant indicates the colour of the plant. In our case, RU2 is red. What? You figured that out? I'll get back to you with another pro tip later. Now run back to the first room and put the sample into this machine here. Hold right click to examine it and then place it in the highlighted section. It produces a coloured tube. Now we process this by using the main machine again. Put it here and then click that button there. That tick means we did it right. Well, let's step things up a little bit. Now we'll try a combined one. But wait, my container is gross now. You're right, let's get that cleaned so we can continue. Run to the cupboard room on the way to the plants that were mentioned before and place your dirty container on here. Give that button a boop and it'll be clean in no time. Now we just run to the plant room and wait, we didn't check what plants we needed, did we? Now we have to run all the way back and pro tip. You can't hear each other through the glass, but you can make use of that big window. Get them to jump up and down in front of one of the points. Or they can point to the plant that you need. What? You knew that too? Damn. With the help of my assistant, we now know we need yellow and red. So go collect those plants. After we've got them, bring them back to the music room and process the samples the same as before. But do not put them in the main machine. We want to put both colours in this third machine here. Give them a good old mix and voila, you have a brand new colour. Now you can put it into the machine for analysis. Pro tip. If you throw something to its approximate location, it'll get sucked in. There's no way you knew that one. Congratulations! You are now a certified space botanist, and you gain 10 points. Now that you're used to computers, let's check out, well, computers. I don't really like this task, but it's simple enough. You start in one of the offices right next to spawn. You check your map to go here, or from spawn, you'll see the two offices in front of you if you face this way. Now we need to check all of the computers to see which ones are working and which ones need help. If they need you to do anything, they'll have a screen like this. Press Y to signal to the other computer you're ready to send the message, but don't move from this spot, at least not yet. The reason I don't like this task is because it can randomly fail. Sometimes you'll get lucky and it goes through straight away. Other times you can try again and again. Now you might think this is a bit, but this task actually failed 10 times in a row whilst I was recording. When the AI overlords finally decide to free you from this horror, you can check where the other computer is receiving this message. They can be a little bit sneaky sometimes.
What did they expect?
But it'll either be here, 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 or here. When you get to the second computer, press Y again to send it back. Do not press N. This will start the process again. You start in one of the offices right next to spawn. But sometimes, even if you do press Y, yeah, that happens. And finally, when it decides to work, all we have to do is head back to the first computer and we can press yes to finish. Don't worry, if you click no, it doesn't actually fail the task at this point, so you're okay. And now you're ready to... Nope! You still have to do the exact same thing with at least a few other computers. Pro tip! The real pro tip is to just have somebody else do this task. Congratulations! You now have space depression. but at least you get another 10 points. You should be used to running around as well, so you'll be great at delivery is easy. Head down to the storage room and grab yourself a box. If you check the map, it shows you where everything is and where you need to go. Now back to that box. Examine the box and you'll see it has a symbol. That symbol matches the ones we saw on the map, and the ones on these little signs up here. I'll give you a quick tour. So from the starting area, we have cameras tucked away on its own in this corner. So any camera packages, they go here. Go back out and walk down this corridor and turn left, that's the machine room. The delivery station here is just behind the doorway. We're going to cut through storage. There aren't any delivery stations in storage, but this is where all the boxes are. You go round the corner, and on the left is medical. The stations in medical are here, 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 and here. Coming back out of medical, we see Pizzushi. This one's a little bit tricky at first, because one station is right here, but the other one is a little bit tucked away. If you come out of Pizzushi and walk a bit further down this corridor, you've got this little storage area, and it's right there. Botanical is at the end of the hallway. If you're lucky, it's the box right outside the music room here. And if you're unlucky, you'll have to backtrack down the corridor, take the right, and it'll either be in the little cleaning cupboard area here, or it will be in the plant room just on your right. Finally, we head to computers. This also happens to match our box, so I can show you a delivery as well. Now for computers, there are 7 in total. 2 in the offices back here. There's 3 more in the middle office, here, here and here. And then there's 2 at the back. So be sure to check them all. Now to deliver, we just open the station by clicking that button. And then we place the box inside by inspecting it with right click and putting it in the highlighted section. Now just close it all up, and that completes the delivery. Now we go back to storage and do the same thing again, but it'll be a lot quicker this time because you know where you're going and how to get there. Pro tip: hitting the button with the box actually costs quite a bit of stamina, and you need that for running around. If you drop the box first, press the button with your hands, and then put it in, it consumes far less stamina. Congratulations, you are now a Space Delivery Officer. You don't get any points because this is too easy, but you do get to wear a cool cap. If you'd like more points, maybe consider... No, this isn't pizza sushi, it's Pizzushi. Read the signs. From spawn, you can check the map to see where it is, and then you can head in either direction. You'll end up here pretty quickly. When you get to the restaurant, look at the tables. Some menus have orders, and some don't, so look around. They all take this format: rice, fish, plant. Rice is usually found either in the pantry opposite the restaurant, or in storage. You can also find containers here as well, so grab those if you didn't have them already. Oh, and the knife if you want to look the part. Take the rice bag back to the restaurant and place it on one of these processors by examining it with right click and then placing it in the highlighted section with left click. The machine tells you what rice you have, but this is what each bag looks like and what rice it contains. Once it's in the slot, press that button and voila, we now have a rice dispenser. To start the process, you'll need to pay attention to this big machine here. Push the first button to give yourself a seaweed base. Now, the machine says we need rice. The order wanted brown rice, so grab an empty container and go back to our dispenser. Just examine it and then place the container. Now push that button to fill it up, and there we have it. Pop the full container onto the machine using the same method and then push the button to get things moving. Now you can see it wants a fish. The order was shrimp, so let's get to that. And to do that we need to be over here. You push these buttons to choose the right fish, and then you push that button to get it. Pro tip: fish are great weapons in a pinch, but be careful. These ingredients are delicate and they'll be lost after one attack. Switch to the knife or a container to finish the job. No guns. Gunpowder ruins the food. You're probably wondering why this is called shrimp, when it clearly looks like a lobster. Well, we take our shrimp back to the kitchen and place it into the slot. Push the button and then we move on. But you didn't answer the "and then we move on." Next we need a topping. If you watched analysis, you already know what to do. But as a quick rundown, we can see they want WX2. So we run to the right, down the corridor to Botanic, and then we take the left here and go down to the plant room. You can grab an empty container, or you can take the one that's in the slot and we can clean that. Now that we have an empty container, go into the plant room, grab the plant that you need, and then run all the way back. Pop it in this slot here, push the button, and there's our toppings. Finally, we package the Pizzushi, and then we place it on the right place. You know if it's in the wrong place because you get a red marker. Don't worry, you can pick it up and move it again. When you get it in the right place, it'll be a blue light and you can't move it, so it's safe. Pro tip: push the first button to get sorted whilst you go and find the rice, and it'll be done by the time you get back. Have someone else clean the containers for you or grab the plant toppings. That way you can guard Pizzushi with your knife. Congratulations, you are now a certified space chef. You also get 20 points. Speaking of dangerous objects, there is one task notorious for causing the most deaths on any space station. Pressure. It's easier if you can get a friend, but they're optional. Let's head over to the machine room to get started. It's this way from spawn. To stop the machine from exploding, we have 4 pressure points. And each of those pressure points requires a special grade canister to cover it. These canisters are colour coded. Yellow is the weakest at 1, red is the middle at 2, and blue is the strongest at 3. Let's start by collecting all 8 canisters. Some will start in the machines themselves, but most of them will be located in storage this way. The machine won't turn on until it's loaded, so let's do that. Grab a canister, hold right click to examine it, and then left click to place it when you see the highlighted section. Do that with 3 more canisters and you'll fill up 1 machine. And now that we've got 4 in, come around to the side and you'll see 2 buttons. If we push this button, the machine goes to half power. This is where you need to be careful. If there isn't a structure between you and the canisters, yeah. If you have that one friend I spoke about earlier, they can tell you if they see any red flashing lights. Red flashing lights is a universal sign of bad juju, and you'll need to press this button to make sure the power goes back down before it explodes. If you don't have that friend, then just hide here and see if it blows up. If half pressure is fine, then go straight to full pressure. Okay, one of the canisters blew up and you can see it's fallen to the ground. To fix this issue, we just replace it with the next strongest canister. You can refer to the colour coding from earlier, or you can just read the numbers. Pro tip: each socket has up to 3 levels of pressure. Fill the first machine with all of the yellow canisters, and then use reds to fill out the rest. Now go to half pressure. If a canister blows off, then you know that that section is 1.5 power, meaning at full power it will need to be a 3. And you know what covers a 3? That's right. So grab a blue, just in case you don't believe me. We'll take the red, and I'll show you. So we've put them all back in, and now we're putting up to full power, and you can see that red's come off. So grab a blue and put it in there. Now that we've finished one machine, the other machine will be a lot easier to do, because it just uses the remaining canisters, provided we did it correctly. Congratulations, you are now a certified space engineer, and you get an additional 20 points. There is another task that can put you under a lot of pressure, especially if you're doing it alone, and that's Scanner. I barely know her. Sorry. Head over to Medical, it's this way from spawn, and go to the room behind that glass window. This task is best done with 2 people, a seer and a mover. Let's call them S and M. M and S? We'll stick with S and M. M stands in the square, and S stands behind the computer. If you're M, your job is to shut up and follow directions. Remember, M's love being told what to do. But if this makes you uncomfortable, order the other person to be an M. S, your job is to give M orders as to where to look. They have to colour in these dots on the screen, and only you can see them. Remember, M loves being told what to do, and if you berate them a little bit, they won't mind. Maybe they will mind. You might need a safe word. If you don't want this task to awaken something in you, you could always try doing it solo. It's easier than it sounds, and sounds will be key here. You hear that ticking sound? That plays when you're stood in the square. The closer you are to the dot, the faster and louder it gets. And when it stops completely, you've coloured in that circle. The easiest way to do this is either rings or sine waves. Rings take the line on the floor and slowly follow it around in a circle. If you hear a faster ticking, then try to hone in on where it is, and then go back to the ring and carry on. For sine, take the middle of the room, move directly upwards from that, and then when you reach right at the top of where you can look, curve off slightly and go straight back down. And when you reach the very bottom, curve off again and go straight back up. Repeat this until you've covered the entire room. And, just like rings, if you get a beat, hone in on it, and then when it's sorted, continue the course. Who said this math stuff wouldn't be useful in the real world? Pro tip: there is a third secret way. This thing on the screen looks suspiciously like the walls, right? Well, you can actually line them up. The first line on the left of the screen matches the middle of the window area. The second line matches the middle where the doorway is of that wall there. The third line here matches the middle of the wall opposite the window. And the fourth line here matches the middle of the wall opposite the doorway. The fifth line is exactly the same as the first line. That centre line down the middle there is the same as the second line from the floor of the entire room. The higher it is in the squares, you'll need to be looking very close to the ceiling. And if it's really low like this, you'll be looking very close to the floor. To prove my point, we're going to have a look at some of these. So, I told you this line is exactly the middle of the window, and the centre line is about 2 blocks up. We want something just below the centre line in the middle of the window. So we follow the centre line round to the middle of the window, and we move down a bit. See that click? There it is. The next dot we're going to do is between the left wall, the window, and this one, which is the doorway. In between, you can draw an imaginary line. That is going to be about the corner of the room. So we want something just a bit to the left of the corner of the room, near the very bottom line. So we're going to stand here. We're going to take the corner of the room, and we're going to go down a little bit. And we want to be all the way down, and it was left of the bottom. So we hear that, and we go back, and there it is. Rinse and repeat. Just pick one of the dots, use it to measure up the right place, go to roughly where it is, and then just feel out. You should make it a lot quicker. Congratulations! You are now a certified space scanner. If you can solo the task, you get 20 points. If you need a friend, you only get 10, but they get 10 too. If you tried to solo this task and it didn't go well, you might need a place to vent. No, this isn't Among Us. You can't stuff your sussy wussy into a vent and crawl around. Sussy baka! First off, let's go find a vent so you know what they look like. Check the map, and you'll see there's lots of different locations they could be. Pick one, and we'll go take a look. This is a vent that doesn't need cleaning. You can tell by the blue light. This is a vent that does need cleaning, and you can tell by the red. See those screws? Head over to storage, or the back area of machine room, and grab yourself a screwdriver. Let's go to the machine room, because then I can do some foreshadowing. In this back area here, make sure you check all the shelves, because sometimes they can be hiding on the bottom. As you leave, you'll notice 3 machines on the right. Now that we have our screwdriver, head back to that dirty vent. Using your screwdriver, click on each of the screws to unscrew them, and when they're both out of place, you can then grab the vent from the slot. Remember those machines I mentioned earlier? Take your dirty vent all the way back to the machine room and pop it in one of those. These will clean it. Just pop it into the slot by examining it with right click, and then left clicking when it's highlighted, and push that button. Pro tip! You can tell if a vent is clean or dirty if you find it on the ground by checking what it looks like. Examine it, and if it's clean, it'll look like this, and if it's dirty, it'll look like that. If it's dirty, the sockets also show with a red light. The machines can also tell, so if it's clean and you pop it in, it won't make you clean it twice. Take our clean vent all the way back to its socket, pop it in place the same way you put it in the machine, and then tighten the screws with a screwdriver. All sorted. Pro tip: like most other heavy objects, vents are a pretty good weapon in a pinch. Congratulations, you no longer need space therapy. And you gain 10 points. Speaking of points, how many have you got now? You might also be wondering, mastering tasks is great if I'm an employee, but what if I'm a dissident? Well, you'll just have to check out this video, and I'll show you the ropes.